All right, a good Sunday to you. Thanks for finding us here on Fox 26. Maybe you're on YouTube, maybe you're on our website, maybe you're on Fox Local, but are you on the mobile version of Fox Local? If you're on the smart TV, great, but we now have Fox Local available on your device, on your smartphone, so add that to what you've got on your phone there. You'll be able to have us wherever you want to be heading out to, and a lot of great content. It's a really slick looking app. You need to get a chance to look at that when you get a chance. Again, download Fox Local app for your smartphone. Now let's dive into the tropics here as we're wrapping up the weekend. We started the weekend, if you'll remember correctly, without anything named, couple areas of interest, and we'll end the weekend with one named storm. Nadine is no longer with us. If we're looking over here on the satellite imager a little bit, you can kind of make out a little bit of a mess there right on the edge of the coast, on the Pacific coast there of Mexico, on the far southern portions of it. This system is continuing, though, to bring rain for Guatemala as well as Belize and the southern portions of Mexico. So now we'll call it remnants of Nadine. The National Hurricane Center here at 10 a.m. Giving their last advisory on Nadine, again, 10 a.m. Sunday, and at that point was no longer going to continue to track it as it's going to continue to fall apart over this kind of rugged area there in Mexico, but still producing quite a bit of rain. So if we don't have Nadine to talk about, then we're left with Oscar. And Oscar was such an unusual storm in the fact that it just didn't look like it was going to be anything. It was running out of time as it was moving through the Atlantic. Here's where we have it right here, about to make a landfall into Cuba. Not quite there yet. The 4 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center on Sunday says almost making a landfall, but not quite there yet. But as this system tracked across the Atlantic and into the Bahamas, it was so small that it almost didn't really even pop up. But then once we got a better look at it, we realized, hey, this does have hurricane force winds. There is a circulation to it. It's just really small. At one point, it had only about a 3-mile wide eye. The latest information from the National Hurricane Center for this 4 p.m. update on Sunday is that those hurricane force winds do extend out from the center about 10 miles. So it's grown a little bit, but still this would be considered a compact, maybe even small hurricane. Still, with those powerful winds, 80 miles an hour, that's certainly going to create some issues here for the far eastern edges there of Cuba, and even, again, part of the Bahamas here as we're kind of beginning to make that track. It will fall apart pretty quick. Fall apart meaning the winds will weaken quite a bit once it begins to make its landfall, which it is very close to that right now. And then it'll downgrade to those 45-mile-an-hour winds and then continue to make this right turn. This major steering currents in the upper levels of the atmosphere are really going to get a hold of it and kind of shoot it back out to the Atlantic. At this point in time, it's also going to really run into some shear, those upper level winds that not only redirect it, but also just kind of tear things up a little bit. That's why we're looking at things kind of coming to an end here when we get to Wednesday. That'll kind of figure itself out a little bit more as we move through. I wouldn't completely count on that happening. There is still some questions as far as how long is it going to kind of interact with land? When's that turn really going to start making? One thing to note, though, is that it's currently moving pretty slow, about 6 miles an hour to the west-southwest. And you'll notice these icons getting further apart. That's a clear indication that it's speeding up its process. So once it begins to make that turn, it will begin to speed up a little bit. That's going to be good for the folks there in Cuba. We'll kind of get that kind of mess sort of washed out of the way as best as we can. So Oscar ended up being the 15th named storm for this season. It's the 9th hurricane that we've seen this season. Nadine only made it to a tropical storm strength. And so we're beginning to catch some numbers. I still think we're going to be able to have a few more of these names. We're not going to just sort of get a real quiet October. we're getting closer to these very high numbers that we're expected, but we're not going to make it, I don't think, up into the 20s, the lower 20s. We'll maybe get to 20, a couple more maybe checking off of the list, but we definitely had some pretty high expectations going in. We have made it to an average season, and as I mentioned, we did have 9 hurricanes, so we've exceeded an average season as far as the number of hurricanes that we've had and kind of made it up closer to these numbers. But I don't expect October to just completely come to an end, but we will have a little bit more activity. But as we again move further into the year, overall expectations will certainly lower just a little bit as far as what we would see in the tropics. But a reminder, we're here every day of hurricane season, and we're going to keep you updated whether there's a lot of action going on or just a little bit of something going on. We're going to give you the information, let you dive into it, spend some more time than what we could do in a normal newscast. So that'll do it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow, Monday, a little bit after 4 p.m. Central Time, with another discussion and the latest on what's happening in the tropics.